Opinions expressed on AgriTalk do not necessarily reflect the views of Vance Publishing Corporation, affiliate stations, or sponsors. Call toll-free 888-247-4825 to participate in today's program. Now back to AgriTalk and Mike Adams.
And welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. The National Biodiesel Conference is underway. As we mentioned, about 1,200 will be in attendance here for this year's conference. We've talked about how the industry is rebounding, and really when you talk about the future of this industry, it's very critical to really attract the best and brightest of our young minds and scientists and researchers, developers from our universities across the country to really get involved, put their talents into the future of this industry and helping it grow and to develop. And that's why a program like we've talked about here, the Next Generation Scientists for Biodiesel, is such an important program. And joining us now to tell us more about it before we talk with a couple of the students that are involved in it, very happy to have with us Karen Edwards with KCE Public Affairs and Communications Advisor for the National Biodiesel Board. Karen, good to see you. This is quite a program that hasn't been around all that long, but has already made some great strides.
Well, we were delighted 2 years ago at the Biodiesel Conference to see two senior scientists, I call them, but PhD academics and research leaders in the United States, if not the world, on biodiesel launch the Scientists for Biodiesel initiative. We've now had over 125 different scientists from universities across the country, some of them department heads, who have gone on record and said why they support biodiesel, and that initiative led to us to realize that there are many, as you said, bright students across the nation already working on biodiesel, and they're doing important work, and they are the future of this industry. But really, they're doing a lot of very present work, as you'll hear from our two of the about a dozen who joined us for the conference. And we've been very pleased that we've had a group of founding members, and we now have over 77 students from literally coast to coast participating in this program. The United Soybean Board has supported it as well, and we're delighted that Evan Lee from the University of Nevada could join us with support from USB.
And what happens here is they get connected with others in the industry and other scientists, and that helps further their work and makes them part of the bigger picture, and also hopefully will attract others into research and development for biodiesel.
Yes, we're really excited. We've created some opportunities for the students to meet with folks like Steve Howell, the technical director for the National Biodiesel Board, as well as scientists from the National Renewable Energy Lab. So we see this as a really important opportunity for them to connect with what's going on from our perspective, but also for us to connect with them. For example, one of the students who's with us today, he is a graduate student who's working on EPA and national science-funded research on biodiesel. So it's really great to have that kind of back and forth with these scientists.
And for any industry to really move forward, this is what it takes.
Absolutely. I mean, we see the work that these students are doing, but they don't just research. You'll find that they're actually walking the talk and promoting their universities to use biodiesel, as well as doing their laboratory activities.
Well, let's talk with a couple of these students, and we'll start with Lucas Ellis of Dartmouth, pursuing his Master of Science in Biochemical Engineering. At one time in your young career, you already referred to as Mr. Biodiesel, so that's a pretty good moniker to have.
Absolutely. I was very proud of it. It was a professor of mine that I had that I worked with, and we did a lot of educational and outreach with making biodiesel, talking about the science of biodiesel to other students, and he ended up coining the term Mr. Biodiesel.
How did you get interested and involved in biodiesel research?
Well, it was really serendipitous. I had heard about biodiesel at a conference called the Bioneers, and so after finding out about it and my general interest in science and engineering as well as environmentalism, I felt like it combined very well, and I became really infatuated with it. I found it very fascinating. The science is really interesting. At the time that I was taking classes, I was actually taking classes that talked about literally the science of biodiesel. So in a lot of ways, I think the next generation scientists, we're hoping to make it not serendipitous for other students. We want to make it so that other students can find it, and it doesn't have to be hard or mysterious to find out or learn more about biodiesel. So I think that's what we're trying to make the next generation scientists all about.
And in particular, what have you focused on, and tell us a little bit about your research?
Well, a lot of the research that I've been doing is developing skill sets that I think I can apply later on in my career towards the biodiesel industry. A lot of the things that I'm learning in biochemical engineering are tools that we can use for second-generation feedstocks, so maybe microalgae that people talk about. I think there's a lot of potential in expanding other feedstocks. And so a lot of the skill sets that I'm developing in my graduate career can be applied directly to that.
Yeah, whether we're talking ethanol or biodiesel, we try to always focus, even though we think mostly of corn-based ethanol and soy biodiesel, both of these energy sources can be developed from many other raw products, whether it's algae or whatever it may be. So the potential is unlimited, and that's why it's so critical for young people like you to be involved in this research to help that potential become reality.
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts on biodiesel? I mean, here, as a young person, you study it, you look at it. What are your thoughts for biodiesel as a part of our energy solution in this country to try to break that dependence on foreign energy?
I think it's critical. I mean, but one thing that I always find amazing about biodiesel, and especially compared to other technologies, is biodiesel is walking the walk right now. A lot of people talk the talk, but this technology is happening. So I think there's a lot of potential for it to grow. Obviously, we're going to need some, we're going to need more feedstock. I think we're going to need other ways that we can get the fuel. So for this technology to really kind of grow, especially compared to the amount of petroleum that we use in the United States, we're going to need a lot more. And that also means a lot more scientists, a lot more jobs. So I think it's going to be a larger and more growing economy as we continue to see it.
I'm always amazed with ethanol, we're finding new feedstocks all the time, whether it's wood chips or whatever it may be. Same thing happening with biodiesel. We're finding more and more raw products that we can use to help us to develop the fuel.
Absolutely, and especially today with the tool sets, the tools that we're developing in biotechnology as well as other fields, there's just, it almost seems limitless in what we're capable of doing. So it's, as a young scientist, it's very exciting to kind of look forward, and I mean, I can't imagine what's going to happen in the next 20 years. If we look back 20 years, what's happened, I think it's a really exciting time for a young scientist like myself.
Now, what do you plan on focusing on now?
Well, I'll be actually finishing up my master's degree this spring, and I'm very interested in continuing my education, but I think in terms of my lifelong education, I'd like to get more experience in industry. So I would like to get involved with industry right now, and we'll see where that takes me.
Very good. Congratulations on what you've accomplished, and good luck to you, Mr. Biodiesel.
Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah, I see it on your business card someday. All right. Now, also with us, and come back to Karen Edwards, first of all, I wanted to say that it is so critical to take what they're doing in colleges and in research facilities and then bring that forward into the mainstream, into the marketplace. That'll be the key, but it has to start with that basic research and that opening up the unknown right now for developing a product like biodiesel.
Well, we're very excited about the different work that the students are doing, and we see this as being a two-way discussion, and not just coming to the conference, but we hope to have ongoing communications. And you know, they're students, so they're active on Facebook, and we're communicating with them that way, but also having them share back information about what they're doing, and we'll be doing some more webinars. We had our first webinar online with nearly 100 students stayed on the line for an hour or two to discuss what's happening with biodiesel. So there's a lot of growth there.
That's right. Once you get them involved and excited, and then you can really grow from there. Also with us is Evan Lee, a senior studying mechanical engineering at the University of Nevada, Reno. He was chosen by the Next Generation Scientists for Biodiesel to receive a full-ride scholarship to the conference. Evan, thank you for joining us. Tell us how you got interested in biodiesel.
I was introduced by a lot of small projects when I was a sophomore, and eventually that led to my senior design project, which eventually led to my work at another sustainable energy lab for a couple of years. So it became my lifelong interest for now. I mean, that's something I wanted to spend a lot.
So you're going to stay involved. You're going to stay researching biodiesel?
Researching, yeah.
Looking at what in particular?
Trying to scale it up currently, because that's the biggest problem, the energy consumption. I've been really looking into how photobioreactors, types of photobioreactors, how can reduce energy costs, mixing, harvesting, those kind of stuff.
And how important is it for you to be involved in this program where you can connect with other scientists and learn more about what's going on in the industry?
I think it's really important. I mean, I've been exposed to a lot of things I never knew, and I just hope to keep expanding my knowledge.
So do you have a belief then that biodiesel can be a major part of our energy solution in this country.
Yeah, definitely. I really believe there's a lot of potential in this.
You think we've just scratched the surface of what we can do with biodiesel?
I think we've gone like pretty farther than that. And it's probably within 5 more years, it's probably going to happen.
Well, congratulations to you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Karen, scratching the surface, I mean, we forget how young this industry is and what we are learning. The key is, will the country be serious enough about biodiesel and biofuels in general to really make the commitment to make biofuels mainstream and not just a niche market in our energy program?
Well, and I think that comes back to these students. I mean, they're going to be leaders in making it a reality. Rudolf Diesel had the diesel engine in this country and at the World's Fair in Paris in 1900, and yet our nation got off track. But just the interaction that we've had with the next generation scientists for biodiesel has been very encouraging to those of us working in the biodiesel, because it shows you the leaders that are going to take us to that next step.
We think it's a good idea. These are the young people that are going to make it happen, and it's very exciting to see that all come together, and it's a great program, this Next Generation Scientists for Biodiesel. Karen Edwards has been with us, Communications Advisor for the National Biodiesel Board. Also joining us, Lucas Ellis of Dartmouth and Evan Lee, a senior at the University of Nevada, Reno. Thank you all for being with us, telling us more about this program. Keep up the good work. We'll take a break. We'll come back and tell you about a school district here in Arizona that is using biodiesel and having great success with it. That's coming up next. Stay with us from Phoenix. This is AgriTalk.